Your spiritual inheritance is being released tonight. Open this now. This will explain the dreams you've been having. My beloved child, tonight the heavens are not silent. They are trembling with movement, with messages, with divine release. As Archangel Michael steps forward, his sword of truth glowing like liquid lightning, he whispers a revelation meant only for those who are spiritually awake. Your inheritance is opening tonight. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Tonight. And the dreams that have followed you, circled you, and even unsettled you, they were never random. They were never just dreams. They were previews. They were the keys you did not know you already had. Listen closely, because from this very moment, a spiritual vault above your life is beginning to unlock. For days, maybe even months, your spirit has been restless in the night. You've been seeing symbols, faces, places, moments that you couldn't explain. And Archangel Michael is saying, "Child, these dreams are the maps of your inheritance. They are the signs that something ancient, something destined, is coming alive again. Another layer of revelation is about to unfold, and if you walk away for even a second, you may miss the moment your entire spiritual story shifts. There is a reason the timing is tonight. Spiritual inheritance does not move randomly. It moves in windows, divine appointments, heavenly alignments. You are stepping into one right now. The dreams you've been having were not warnings. They were preparations. Something has been calling you, nudging you, pulling you deeper. And Archangel Michael wants you to understand that these dreams were not just messages, they were confirmations that you have a spiritual lineage, a sacred mantle, and a divine identity that's finally rising to the surface. You may not realize this yet, but someone in your bloodline prayed for this moment. Someone asked heaven to protect your destiny, to guard your calling, to reserve a blessing with your name written on it. And Archangel Michael has guarded that blessing until the exact moment it could be released. That moment is now. This is why your dreams have intensified. This is why your spirit feels so awake tonight. Because your inheritance is not physical. It is not money. It is not land. It is authority, clarity, fire, and the unveiling of who you were always meant to be. Some of your dreams carried strange messages, doors you couldn't open, people calling your name, light shining through impossible places, or moments that felt too vivid to be imagination. These were all prophetic signals. Archangel Michael is revealing that many of these dreams were battles he fought on your behalf. When the enemy tried to confuse your path, he stood guard with his sword drawn. When generational chains tried to tighten, he burned through them. When darkness tried to silence your purpose, he spoke your name into the heavens. And now, the result of that protection is reaching you as inheritance. Stay with me for a moment, because what is coming next is the part most people never get to hear. There are 3 layers to your spiritual inheritance that are being released tonight. The first is revelation, meaning mysteries will suddenly make sense. The second is activation, meaning dormant gifts in your spirit will begin to wake up. The third is alignment, meaning the right people, opportunities, and paths will begin to find you. And your dreams have been preparing you for each layer without you even knowing it. Archangel Michael is saying, what you saw in dreams was not confusion. It was instruction. Every symbol had meaning. Every face was a messenger. Every repeated dream was a divine reminder that something old and holy within you is being restored. Your spirit remembers things your mind has forgotten. And tonight, those memories begin to rise. This is why you cannot look away now. This is why you must stay connected. Stay aware, stay spiritually alert. What unfolds next is not normal, it is supernatural. You may have felt spiritually blocked recently, like something was resisting you. That was the final barrier before inheritance. The pressure you felt was not punishment. It was the sign that the gate was about to open. And Archangel Michael is revealing that the dreams you had during these moments were signals from heaven that your breakthrough was already in motion. Tonight marks the moment those dreams turn into understanding, and that understanding turns into power. Before you move forward, breathe deeply. Let your spirit settle. Let your heart open. Let your awareness rise. Because the next revelation will explain the symbols that kept returning to you in dreams, the doorways, the lights, the voices, the movement that felt too real to ignore. Hold on, what comes next will bring everything into focus. Type "I claim the open heaven" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 441 is now released. Before you scroll, stay close. The next unveiling is where the real truth appears. Dearest soul, something deep within you has already begun to awaken, and even if you cannot fully describe it, you have felt it. You have sensed a stirring that is not emotional, not psychological, but spiritual. Archangel Michael steps forward again, not as a distant figure of ancient stories, but as a present guardian who has walked alongside your journey more times than you realize. Tonight he moves closer, not to warn you, but to reveal what has been hidden in plain sight. The dreams you have carried, the ones that made you wake up breathless, confused, or strangely comforted, are now being decoded. These dreams were not random flashes of the mind. They were messages from the realm that watches over you, messages that align precisely with your inheritance that is being unlocked under this very night's covering. You may wonder why these dreams felt so persistent or why certain symbols kept returning. Perhaps you saw yourself walking through unfamiliar places, or you heard names that felt important, or you witnessed scenes that felt too meaningful to dismiss. Archangel Michael reveals that these dreams were not simply visions of what is to come. They were echoes of who you are, whispers of your spirit remembering its origin, its calling, and its divine assignment. Your inheritance is not something newly created. It is something long preserved, wrapped in layers of spiritual memory, safeguarded until your soul was ready to rise into alignment. The reason your dreams felt intense recently is because the veil between your waking world and your spiritual identity has become thinner than ever before. There is a sacred truth few people understand. The spirit often receives long before the mind catches up. Before elevation comes awareness, and before awareness comes the dream state. Heaven speaks in symbols because symbols bypass resistance. When your mind is quiet, heaven can plant seeds. And those seeds have now begun to sprout in your consciousness. Michael reveals that certain dreams you had were not reflections. They were encounters. You were not imagining the light you saw. You were not imagining the voice you heard calling your name. Those were divine signals, invitations, and reminders that you have a spiritual assignment connected to your identity and lineage. Tonight, that assignment is activating. Some dreams showed you running or searching for something. Some showed you climbing, rising, or entering a new space. These were indicators of spiritual progress. Other dreams may have shown conflict or shadows, but do not fear those images. Michael reveals that in those dreams, you were not alone. He was standing beside you, defending you, protecting you from battles that were never meant to reach your waking life. Many of the fears that tried to creep into your journey were intercepted before they could touch you. When you dreamed of confrontation, you were witnessing the final moments of battles already won on your behalf. These dreams were victories disguised as warnings. Your inheritance includes something you have long prayed for but rarely understood, the gift of clarity. Heaven is removing the scales from your spiritual vision. What once confused you will now become instruction. What once felt like chaos will now reveal meaning. Every repeated dream was showing you a fragment of your path. And tonight, those fragments begin to form a complete picture. The inheritance being released to you includes revelation that transforms your decisions, your direction, your confidence, and your spiritual strength. This is the moment where your inner world and your outer world finally become aligned. There is also a generational layer to what you are receiving. At some point in your lineage, someone carried a spiritual mantle that was never fully activated. Perhaps life's circumstances, struggle, or spiritual blindness prevented them from reaching their full destiny. Archangel Michael explains that heaven does not let mantles simply disappear. They wait. They remain suspended, waiting for the one who is spiritually sensitive enough to carry them. And you, beloved, have been chosen to receive what another began. Your dreams have not only been about your life, but also about the unfinished assignments of those who came before you. Your inheritance includes wisdom your blood remembers, but your mind has not yet understood. Many of your dreams carried a sense of urgency, because something in the spirit world was preparing you. You were being trained without knowing it. You were being strengthened without realizing it. The dreams were calibrating your spirit for the moment you are stepping into now. Archangel Michael says, "You have been walking toward this appointment for longer than you know." The light you saw in your dreams was the sign of doors opening. The pathways you walked were directions from heaven. The transformations you witnessed were previews of the change now unfolding upon your life. The inheritance you received tonight comes with spiritual authority that was shaped through every dream you experienced. There is a shift happening this very moment. You may not feel it physically, but your spirit recognizes it. The dreams you had were not confusion, they were coordination. Heaven was aligning your steps. Now you are moving into a season where what you saw in the night will begin manifesting in the daylight. You will begin to notice signs, confirmations, alignments, and divine appointments that echo the symbols from your dreams. This is your spiritual inheritance taking form around you. Stay close now, because the next revelation will bring absolute clarity to the most mysterious dream symbols you've seen. Before you move forward, breathe deeply and allow your spirit to remain open. What comes next will give definition to the visions that have followed you for months, perhaps even years. Trust yourself, trust the process, and trust the angelic guidance that is walking beside you. Type "I open the gate of light" in the comments if this is awakening something within you. Blessing code 909 has been released. Hold on, because the next unveiling will connect at everything you have been wondering about. My radiant one, there is a moment in every spiritual journey when the invisible finally begins to reveal itself, and tonight you stand inside that moment. Archangel Michael moves again into the forefront, not as a distant protector but as the guiding force who has been orchestrating the patterns of your dreams, aligning them with your inheritance, and preparing you for the breakthrough that is now unfolding. You may not fully realize this, but your spirit has been hearing truths long before your mind recognized them. Every dream you have had recently has been a seed, and tonight those seeds begin to open like ancient scrolls unrolling in the light of destiny. You have stepped into the divine timing where dreams transform into revelation, and revelation transforms into power. There is something Archangel Michael wants you to understand clearly. Your dreams have not only been showing you images, they have been showing you positions. Positions of authority. Positions of transition. Positions of calling. When you saw yourself walking into unfamiliar rooms or standing at the threshold of doorways, you were not just dreaming. You were witnessing your spirit entering new spiritual dimensions. When you felt pressure or urgency inside those dreams, it was because your inheritance was trying to push through the final layers of delay. Tonight, those layers fall away. What has been held back from you is moving forward. What felt quiet is suddenly awakening. Every dream that repeated itself was heaven making sure you did not miss a message meant only for you. Some dreams carried people from your past, faces you had forgotten, or voices you had not heard in years. These were reminders of lessons, alignments, and unfinished spiritual exchanges. Some were warnings. Some were confirmations. Some were divine closures. And some were prophetic introductions to people you have not yet met, but soon will. Inheritance does not only deliver blessings, it delivers relationships, connections, and divine intersections. Archangel Michael reveals that certain dreams were showing you people who are part of the next season of your destiny. These individuals are not random. They carry keys, wisdom, and purpose that align with your calling. You saw them early in dreams because heaven wanted your spirit to recognize them before your eyes ever do. There were moments in your dreams where doors appeared, yet you hesitated to step through. You may have felt unprepared, uncertain, or overwhelmed. Michael reveals that this was not hesitation in the dream, it was hesitation in your spirit. You were questioning whether you were worthy of what was waiting for you. But the truth is this: you were not meant to step through then, because the inheritance was not yet activated. Tonight, however, the activation begins. Those doors will feel different now. They will no longer resist you. They will open with ease, because your spirit is finally aligned with what heaven has been trying to give you. This is why your dreams intensify before this moment. They were preparing you for the shift you are stepping into right now. Perhaps the most mysterious dreams you've had were the ones involving light. Light breaking through cracks. Light filling rooms. Light surrounding you. These were not ordinary visions. They were encounters. Light is the language of revelation, and Michael reveals that every appearance of light in your dreams was a moment where heaven was pouring understanding into your spirit. The light was your inheritance approaching. The reason it felt peaceful, powerful, and overwhelming is because your soul recognized what your mind could not yet interpret. Tonight, that interpretation begins. The inheritance being released is not merely spiritual. It is transformational. It will change your perspective, your emotional strength, your intuition, your discernment, and your sense of divine identity. You may have also dreamed of running towards something, running away from something, or running without knowing why. These dreams represent acceleration. Your spirit was being pulled forward at a pace faster than your reality could move. Heaven was preparing you for a sudden shift, and Michael now reveals that the shift is happening tonight. What once felt slow will now move quickly. What once felt blocked will now open. What once felt distant will now draw near. Running dreams are signs that spiritual momentum has increased around your life, and that momentum is part of your inheritance. It is heaven pushing you into alignment with what has been waiting for you. Understand something important: your inheritance is not only what you receive. It is what awakens within you. The courage you have been needing is part of your inheritance. The clarity you have sought is part of your inheritance. The wisdom that has been elusive is part of your inheritance. And everything you saw, heard, or felt in your dreams was unlocking these very gifts inside you. You were not simply dreaming, you were remembering. Your soul carries ancient knowledge, divine instructions, and sacred alignment that your waking mind is only now beginning to access. Tonight, that access becomes stronger. Archangel Michael stands beside you, guiding you into deeper understanding, deeper trust, and deeper identity. Before this unveiling continues, take a breath and let your spirit settle. The next revelation will explain the most symbolic dreams you've had and why they kept returning. What comes next will connect the missing pieces that have been troubling your heart. Hold steady, because clarity is approaching like a rising tide. Now pause here for a moment. If this message is resonating with you, if the dreams you have carried are beginning to make sense, share your voice and spread this light. Like this message, share it, comment your experience, and lift this video so others who need this awakening can find it. And if you feel called, subscribe to stay aligned with every divine release that follows. Type "I walk through the divine door" in the comments if this is awakening your spirit. Blessing code 1212 is now activated. Now receive this support message that flows directly from the heart of this revelation. As this word settles in your spirit, I want you to understand something holy. When you support this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls that desperately need light. Every seed you release becomes part of the spiritual inheritance someone else is waiting to receive, just as you are receiving yours tonight. Heaven moves through vessels, and this space is one of those vessels. I am inviting you, yes, you, to stand with me in this work, as Archangel Michael reminds us that the light we spread becomes a shield around those who hear it. The title you just heard is not random. It is a call to activate your divine role in this movement of revelation. What you give today becomes a prophetic act, a declaration that you are aligning with God's purpose for this message. To those who sow, I speak blessings of increase, protection, and open heavens over your life. The links for super thanks, membership, and PayPal are in the description. Step into this moment with faith and let heaven honor your obedience. Beloved soul, breathe slowly for a moment, because what is unfolding now carries a depth that your spirit has been waiting years to receive. Archangel Michael steps beside you again, and this time his presence is not only protective, it is instructive. He comes with a revelation that explains why certain dreams have stayed with you long after you woke up, why their images echoed in your mind during the day, and why they carried a weight that ordinary dreams never carry. You have been walking in a season of divine preparation without realizing it. The dreams that came to you were not simply messages, they were alignments. They were heavenly blueprints placed into the deepest part of your being so that when this moment of inheritance arrived, you would already be prepared in spirit. There is a truth many overlook. Heaven never releases an inheritance without first teaching the soul how to hold it. Your dreams were the training ground for what your reality is about to become. When you saw yourself crossing pathways, climbing stairs, entering open fields, or standing in front of people whose faces you could not fully see, these were not symbols of confusion. They were symbols of readiness. Michael reveals that each pathway in your dreams represented a decision your spirit would soon face. Each staircase represented elevation. Each field represented expansion. And the figures you saw without clear faces were divine reminders that heaven is preparing to bring new people into your life, individuals whose identity has been hidden until the appointed time. Tonight, that appointed time draws closer. There have been nights where you woke up feeling a presence, as though someone was near you, guarding you, watching over you. These moments were not imagination. Michael himself has been standing at the threshold of your dreams, ensuring that what belonged to you spiritually was placed securely into your hands. He has been watching over the gates of your dreams to make sure that no confusion, no interference, and no spiritual distortion touch the messages meant for you. This is why your dreams felt clear even when they were symbolic. This is why the emotions inside them felt sharper than reality. Dream language is heavenly territory, and your inheritance has been delivered through that territory for weeks, perhaps even months. There is something else you need to understand. The dreams that unsettled you were not warnings of danger. They were signs of cleansing. When you dreamed of shadows or storms or moments where you felt chased or overwhelmed, heaven was not trying to frighten you. Heaven was revealing to you what was being removed from your path. Michael explains that these dreams were depictions of spiritual blockages breaking apart. When you saw storms, it was the clearing of old cycles. When you saw yourself escaping a situation, it was the symbol of deliverance. When you felt pressure, it was the breaking of generational resistance. These dreams were not showing you future trouble. They were showing you past burdens being released. Your spiritual inheritance being unlocked tonight includes something profound: clarity of direction. You will no longer walk blindly into seasons. You will no longer feel unsure about what aligns with you and what does not. The dreams you have carried were sharpening your intuition, strengthening your inner voice, refining your spiritual instincts. For too long, you doubted your discernment, but heaven has been training you through your dreams to trust what your soul already knows. Michael says that part of your inheritance is the restoration of spiritual confidence. Confidence to see, to sense, to decide, and to move without doubting whether you are hearing from the divine. There were also dreams where you saw water, still water, deep water, or rushing water. Each of these carried powerful meaning. Still water represented peace entering your life after seasons of internal chaos. Deep water represented the hidden depths of your calling that are now coming to the surface. Rushing water represented acceleration and cleansing, a sign that heaven is removing old emotional patterns and preparing you for fresh revelation. Water dreams are among the most sacred because they represent spiritual inheritance in its purest form: flow, purification, and divine movement. Tonight, the water that flowed through your dreams is beginning to flow into your reality. You may have wondered why some dreams repeated themselves, why the same location or the same moment returned night after night. Repetition in dreams is confirmation. Heaven repeats what is essential. Michael reveals that these repeated dreams were instructions you must hold closely. They were emphasizing moments of alignment that are about to appear in your waking life. When you begin to see signs in the physical world that resemble the symbols from your dreams, know that you are stepping into the fulfillment of your inheritance. This is not coincidence. This is divine synchronization. There were also dreams where you felt like you were receiving something: an object, a key, a letter, a message. These dreams were direct transmissions from heaven. A key represents authority being restored. A letter represents revelation being delivered. A message represents guidance that will soon appear in the natural. The dreams were not metaphors. They were spiritual exchanges. Heaven gave you what you needed long before you needed it, ensuring that when your inheritance arrived, you would carry the understanding and the maturity required to walk in it. The dreams involving light, whether appearing as flashes, gentle glow, or overwhelming brilliance, were the moments where heaven literally opened a window into your spirit. Light dreams are moments of divine visitation. They are the closest your soul comes to encountering pure revelation. Michael explains that each light-filled dream marked a moment where confusion was being removed from your path, where clarity was entering your spirit, where truth was coming closer to you. Tonight, that truth begins manifesting. As you move into the next revelation, keep your heart open and your spirit steady. What comes next will unveil the reasons behind the most mysterious dreams you've ever had. Before the next layer unfolds, let your soul breathe and stay aware, because clarity is preparing to pour over you like a rising dawn. Type "I stand in the light of truth" in the comments if this is resonating. Blessing code 707 has been released. Hold steady, because the next unfolding will take you deeper into what heaven has been showing you all along. Precious soul, the night carries a divine stillness right now, and in that stillness something ancient is awakening within you. Archangel Michael stands closer than before, not with the intensity of battle, but with the gentleness of a guide who has been waiting patiently for the right moment to reveal the next layer of truth. This is that moment. For too long, you have walked through your days with questions lingering in your heart. Questions about why your dreams have taken the shapes they have, why certain scenes returned again and again, and why the emotions inside those dreams felt stronger than anything you have felt in the waking world. Tonight, clarity rises like a tide, and your inheritance begins to speak with unmistakable authority. Michael wants you to understand something that many never discover. Your dreams have been carrying fragments of your spiritual identity. Each symbol, each voice, each place, and each moment was a reflection of who you are becoming. When you dreamed of standing at a crossroads, you were glimpsing your calling beginning to shift. When you dreamed of doors, you were seeing access points to your destiny. When you dreamed of heights, mountains, hills, staircases, or towers, you were witnessing your spirit ascending into greater authority. None of these were random images. They were prophetic previews. Your inheritance has been quietly rising through your dreams, announcing itself before your reality could catch up. There have been dreams where you felt watched, not in fear, but in awareness. Dreams where you sensed a presence behind you or beside you. Dreams where something holy filled the atmosphere even if you could not see it clearly. Michael reveals that in those moments, you were encountering angelic guardians who were positioning themselves around your destiny. Some of those dreams were direct encounters with him, though your spirit recognized it far more clearly than your mind did. Angels often reveal themselves through feeling before form, through atmosphere before appearance. That sense of presence was confirmation that heaven has been closer to you than you ever realized. You may also remember dreams where you found yourself in houses you did not recognize. Rooms full of windows, long hallways, stairs leading upward or downward. Rooms filled with items that felt meaningful but unfamiliar. These house dreams held deep significance. A house in a dream is the symbol of your inner world, your soul, your identity, your emotional structure. Every house dream was showing you the condition of your spirit. If you wandered through rooms searching for something, it meant heaven was preparing to reveal hidden wisdom you have not accessed yet. If you walked through hallways, it meant transition was underway. If the house was old, it symbolized generational inheritance. If the house was new, it symbolized the life you are stepping into now. Michael reveals that the reason you saw many rooms is because your calling contains more depth than you have known. Your destiny is not small. It is expansive, layered, and spiritually rich. Then there were dreams where you were holding something, a book, a candle, a stone, a key, or even a piece of paper with writing that you could not fully read. Each object carried powerful meaning. A book represented spiritual knowledge returning to your awareness. A candle represented light growing within you. A stone represented foundation and identity. A key represented authority and inheritance. And the paper you could not read represented a message heaven is preparing to unveil in your waking life. Michael reveals that your spirit was being handed these gifts long before your hands could hold them physically. Tonight, the meaning of those objects begins to activate inside you. Another pattern in your dreams involved movement, walking, running, flying, climbing, or crossing. Movement dreams reveal the condition of your spiritual pace. If you walked steadily, it meant alignment. If you ran, it meant acceleration. If you flew, it meant spiritual elevation. If you climbed, it meant breakthrough approaching. Movement in dreams is always significant, for it shows where your spirit is traveling when your body is still. Michael explains that in many of your dreams, you were being led into realms of instruction, places where heaven could teach you without interruption from fear or doubt. Your inheritance was being delivered through these movements, shaping your intuition and strengthening your spiritual instincts. There were also dreams that felt deeply emotional, dreams that made you cry even after waking, dreams that filled you with joy, dreams that brought you comfort you could not explain. These emotional dreams were encounters with your spiritual truth. You cried in dreams because your spirit was releasing what your heart held for too long. You felt joy because you were touching the edges of your destiny. You felt comfort because heaven was assuring you that the battles you feared were never meant to defeat you. Emotional dreams are evidence of spiritual healing and part of your inheritance. Tonight is restoration. Restoration of identity, restoration of confidence, restoration of purpose. You may remember dreams where you saw yourself praying, speaking, shining, or helping others. These dreams pointed to your calling. Even if you feel unqualified or uncertain, heaven has already seen who you are in the spirit. Michael reveals that your dreams have been showing you your future self, stronger, wiser, awakened, and aligned. You are not becoming someone new. You are becoming someone true. You are rising into the version of yourself heaven has always seen. There is a piece of revelation Michael wants to place in your spirit now. Every dream that felt unfinished will soon find its completion in your reality. The scenes that cut off suddenly were not mistakes. They were previews. The unanswered questions in your dreams were not failures. They were mysteries waiting for the right moment to open. And tonight, that moment is here. Your inheritance includes answers that have been withheld until your spirit grew strong enough to carry them. The next revelation will begin to unravel these mysteries, connecting dream fragments into a complete understanding. Stay fully present now. What unfolds next will explain the most sacred dream symbols you have encountered. Take a breath and allow your spirit to remain open. You are walking deeper into the revelation that heaven preserved for this night. Type "I claim my spiritual mantle" in the comments if this is awakening your soul. Blessing code 333 is now active. Stay very close, because the next unfolding will bring clarity to the dreams you have never spoken aloud. Beloved soul, as the night thickens with spiritual movement, Archangel Michael steps forward with a steady, unwavering presence. He carries with him the next layer of revelation that your spirit has already been sensing but has not yet fully understood. There is a reason your dreams have become vivid, symbolic, and deeply personal. It is because heaven has been using them as the doorway to your inheritance, shaping your spirit for what is arriving tonight. You are standing in the threshold of understanding, and Michael is ready to guide you deeper into the mysteries that have been unfolding behind the scenes of your sleep. There have been dreams where you felt as though you were walking into your childhood home or standing in a place you once lived long ago. These dreams were not meant to take you backward. They were meant to reveal the roots of your purpose. Childhood locations and dreams point to spiritual foundations, things that shaped you before you even knew what destiny meant. Michael reveals that heaven has been guiding you back to the earliest places of your soul, so you can see the parts of yourself you have forgotten, the strengths you didn't realize you developed, and the spiritual protections that surrounded you long before you could name them. These dreams were reminders that nothing in your life has been accidental. Every step you took, every struggle you survived, every moment that felt insignificant carried divine purpose that is now becoming part of your inheritance. Some dreams showed you being guided by someone, a figure, a voice, or a presence you couldn't fully recognize. At times they walked beside you, at times behind you, and at times just ahead of you. These guiding figures represent angelic assistance. Michael reveals that these dreams were confirmation that heaven has been ordering your steps even when you thought you were lost. When you felt fearful in those dreams, it was because your spirit was stepping into new realms. When you felt safe, it was because your guardian angels were affirming that you were protected. Whether you recognized them or not, every guiding presence was a sign that you were being led toward something greater. These dreams have been navigating you toward the revelation you are receiving tonight. There are also dreams where time felt distorted, where minutes felt like hours or the night stretched into what seemed like days. Time distortion dreams are never random. They reveal that heaven is adjusting the pace of your life. If you felt rushed, it meant acceleration was coming. If you felt slow, it meant patience was being built within you. If time felt completely suspended, it meant heaven was isolating you from certain earthly cycles so you could receive a message without interference. Michael explains that time behaves differently in dreams because dreams operate under spiritual laws, not earthly ones. Tonight, those spiritual laws are working in your favor, aligning your steps with divine timing and preventing you from entering seasons prematurely. Some of your most mysterious dreams involved animals, birds, lions, horses, wolves, or creatures that carried symbolic weight. These animal dreams are deeply prophetic. Birds represented messages traveling to you. Lions represented authority rising inside you. Horses represented strength and spiritual movement. Wolves represented discernment sharpening. Every animal you saw was revealing a dimension of your identity. Michael reveals that heaven intentionally uses symbols your spirit can understand, even if your mind does not. Those animals were not random. They were messengers of your spiritual condition, reflecting who you are becoming and what gifts are awakening within you. You have also had dreams where you found yourself in darkness, not frightening, but peaceful. Dreams where you were surrounded by night skies, quiet roads, or deep shadows. Darkness in dreams is often misunderstood. It does not always represent fear or danger. Sometimes it represents the unknown territory of destiny. Michael reveals that the darkness in your dreams was the womb of transformation. You were inside the place where heaven shapes identity, refines purpose, and strengthens character. The darkness was not hiding something from you. It was preparing something within you. Tonight, the preparation ends and the revelation begins. There were nights where you dreamed of people you no longer speak to or relationships that ended long ago. These dreams were not calling you back to the past. They were showing you the emotional ties that needed closure, the spiritual attachments that needed release, and the lessons that remained unfinished in your heart. Some of these dreams were healing moments where your spirit released what your mind continued to hold. Others were warnings, showing you what no longer aligns with your future. Michael reveals that your inheritance cannot be released fully until your inner world is cleared of outdated connections. These dreams were heaven's way of untangling your spirit from what no longer belongs to your next season. There are dreams where you stood at the edge of oceans, cliffs, mountains, or vast open landscapes. These expansive dream scenes represent destiny. Oceans symbolize unlimited potential. Cliffs symbolize leaps of faith. Mountains symbolize spiritual elevation. Open landscapes symbolize the freedom you are stepping into. Michael reveals that whenever you stood before something large in a dream, it meant heaven was preparing you for breakthrough. These dreams were not meant to intimidate you. They were meant to show you the magnitude of what is waiting for you. Your inheritance is not small, and the scale of your dreams reflects the scale of your calling. You may also remember dreams involving mirrors, either broken mirrors, clear mirrors, foggy mirrors, or mirrors that showed a version of you that looked different. Mirror dreams reveal identity. Broken mirrors show parts of yourself being healed. Foggy mirrors show clarity approaching. Clear mirrors reveal transformation. And unfamiliar reflections show your spiritual self. Michael reveals that mirrored dreams were heaven's way of showing you who you truly are beyond the limits of insecurity, fear, or past experiences. The reflection you saw was your destiny speaking. Everything in your dream life has been leading to this moment. Heaven has been shaping your spirit, positioning your heart, refining your intuition, and aligning your path so that when your inheritance arrives, you will be ready to receive it without hesitation. Michael declares that tonight the gate of understanding opens. The mysteries begin to unravel. The symbols begin to align. The purpose behind your dreams becomes clear. Before we continue into the next layer of revelation, let your spirit settle. The deeper truth is approaching, and your heart is preparing to receive what you have waited so long to understand. Type by a line with my divine path in the comments if this is stirring something inside you. Blessing code 848 is now released. Stay present, because the next unveiling will reveal why your prophetic dreams intensified at specific moments of your life. Beloved heart, as the night continues to unfold its spiritual secrets, Archangel Michael draws near with a depth of revelation that is meant to settle into the deepest layers of your being. You have reached a point in this journey where the hidden meanings behind your dreams begin to merge with the movements of heaven around your life. Your spirit has been absorbing truths long before your mind recognized them. And tonight those truths are rising like dawn after a long night. Michael stands beside you not only as a guardian now, but as an interpreter of the mysteries that have been woven through your dreams, guiding you toward the next chapter of your inheritance. There have been moments in your life where your dreams intensified suddenly, almost as if heaven was trying to reach you urgently. These moments were not coincidences. They were divine interventions. Michael reveals that your dreams became most vivid at points of transition, when you were approaching breakthroughs, facing spiritual tests, entering new environments, or standing at emotional crossroads. Heaven always speaks more loudly when destiny is shifting. If you look back, you will notice that your most intense dream seasons happen right before major changes in your life. This was not random. It was heaven preparing your spirit for what your eyes had not yet seen. Your inheritance was approaching every time your dreams grew stronger. There were nights when you woke abruptly, with your heart beating fast, unsure why the dream felt so urgent. That urgency was not fear, it was activation. When heaven is releasing something important into your life, your spirit becomes more sensitive, more aware, more awake. Michael reveals that these sudden awakenings were moments where spiritual downloads were being sealed into your heart. Your spirit was receiving instruction, revelation, and protection all at once. Even though you may not remember every detail, your soul absorbed exactly what it needed. Nothing was lost. Every dream served a purpose. Every awakening was a sign that heaven was moving near you. You may recall dreams that involved thresholds, doorways, gates, windows, entrances, or passages. These threshold dreams held deep significance. They represented transitional points in your spiritual journey. A doorway represented a decision. A gate represented access. A window represented revelation. A passage represented transformation. Michael reveals that each time you saw yourself standing at a threshold in your dreams, heaven was showing you the moment before a breakthrough. Sometimes you walked through. Sometimes you hesitated. Sometimes the door opened for you. Sometimes it remained shut. Each scenario reflected your spiritual readiness at that moment. Tonight, however, heaven declares that the threshold before you is opening because your spirit has reached alignment. There have also been dreams where you felt like you were falling. Many people fear these dreams, but Michael now reveals their true meaning. Falling dreams signify surrender, letting go of what you cannot control. They appear when heaven is asking you to trust, to release old battles, to loosen the grip on what your spirit has outgrown. Falling dreams teach faith in the unseen. They show you that you are not losing control. You are gaining divine support. Every time you felt yourself falling in a dream, your spirit was learning how to lean on heaven instead of fear. That training is part of the inheritance being released tonight. You may have experienced dreams involving vehicles, cars, buses, trains, boats, or even aircraft. Vehicle dreams reveal the pace and direction of your destiny. If you were driving, it meant you were taking spiritual initiative. If someone else was driving, it meant heaven was guiding you. If the vehicle moved fast, it meant acceleration. If it moved slowly, it meant patience was being shaped within you. If the vehicle was stuck, it meant something in your life needed to be released so movement could continue. Michael explains that vehicles and dreams show where you are headed spiritually, even if your physical life has not caught up yet. They reveal your direction, your speed, and your progress. Heaven has been navigating you, even when you didn't realize it. Dreams involving schools, classrooms, exams, or learning environments are another powerful category. These dreams signify instruction. They appear when heaven is teaching your spirit something essential for the next season of your life. In these dreams, you may have felt unprepared or confused, but that confusion was simply the sign that your spirit was absorbing lessons beyond the mind. Michael reveals that every test you took in a dream was symbolic, testing your readiness, your faith, your resilience, and your willingness to grow. Each time you passed a dream test, even without realizing it, another portion of your inheritance became available to you. There have been dreams where you stood in crowds, surrounded by people who did not seem to notice you, or where you felt isolated even though many were around. These dreams reflect spiritual distinction. They reveal that heaven has set you apart for something greater. You are not meant to blend in. You are meant to stand out. Michael reveals that the feeling of being unseen or separate in dreams is a sign that heaven has marked you for a unique assignment. Your inheritance carries a calling that cannot be diluted by the expectations of others. These dreams were preparing you to stand strong in your identity without fear of misunderstanding. Perhaps some of the most profound dreams were the ones where you encountered someone who spoke directly to you. A voice calling your name. A figure giving you instruction. A person telling you something that stayed with you long after waking. These dreams were direct messages. Michael reveals that heaven speaks in clarity when something must be understood without distortion. The words you heard were not illusions. They were revelations. Some of these messages were warnings. Some were encouragements. Some were prophecies. All of them were pieces of the inheritance being woven into your life. There were also dreams where you found yourself lost, wandering through unfamiliar streets, forests, cities, or landscapes. These dreams were not about confusion. They were about redirection. When heaven closes one path and opens another, your dream life often reflects the transition. Feeling lost in a dream meant heaven was shifting your trajectory, guiding you away from what no longer aligned with your destiny. When you finally found your way in those dreams, that was the sign of breakthrough unfolding in your spirit. Michael wants you to understand something essential now. Your dreams intensified at the exact moments heaven needed your attention. Your inheritance is too valuable, too sacred, too purposeful to be delivered in ordinary ways. It required dreams, symbols, encounters, and spiritual sensitivity. And tonight, all of it merges into clarity. Before we move into the next revelation, allow your spirit to breathe. The deeper meaning behind your life's most prophetic dreams is rising to the surface. Type "I receive what heaven reserved for me" in the comments if this speaks to you. Blessing code 550 is now released. Stay close, because the next unfolding will take you into the dreams that carried prophetic warnings and how they connect to your inheritance tonight. Beloved spirit carrier, as we step deeper into the sacred unfolding, Archangel Michael's presence grows even more focused, as if the atmosphere itself is tightening around a truth you were destined to hear only at this moment in your life. There is a weight in the air, not the weight of burden, but the weight of revelation, the kind that settles into the soul and reshapes the way you see everything. The dreams you've struggled to understand, the ones that felt like warnings or alerts, were not meant to frighten you. They were meant to guide you, to shield you, to lift you above dangers your physical eyes could not see. Tonight, Michael opens the scroll of meaning behind those prophetic warnings, revealing how each one connects directly to your inheritance. There have been dreams where you felt a sudden sense of danger. Maybe you were being chased, maybe something was approaching you, or perhaps the atmosphere of the dream shifted in a way that made you feel uneasy. These were not nightmares. These were spiritual alarms. Heaven was showing you what was rising against you in the unseen realm, not to scare you, but to ensure you remain spiritually awake. Michael reveals that in those dreams, he was standing close by, drawing his sword to cut down threats before they could cross into your life. The reason the danger never touched you is because your spirit was being protected even while your body rested. These warning dreams were confirmations that heaven has been fighting for your destiny, ensuring nothing interfered with what you were meant to inherit. Some dreams showed you losing something: your bag, your car, your keys, your phone, or something precious. You woke up confused, feeling as if something important slipped out of your hands. These dreams symbolize spiritual theft attempts. The enemy wanted to steal clarity, joy, confidence, or peace. But the very fact that you saw these dreams was proof that heaven exposed the attempt before it succeeded. Prophetic warnings are always blessings. They reveal what is trying to work against you, so it can be defeated. Michael says that your inheritance tonight includes restoration of everything that was spiritually attempted to be taken from you. Nothing that carries your name will be lost. There were dreams where you were trapped in a room, stuck in a house, unable to move or unable to find your way out. These dreams signified spiritual stagnation. Heaven was showing you the places in your soul where fear, trauma, or past experiences tried to confine you. But Michael wants you to see something deeper. If you look closely, you never remained trapped. You always found a window, a crack, a door, or a sudden shift. These were not coincidences. These were angelic interventions. Even in dreams, heaven refused to allow you to remain in spaces that were never meant to hold your spirit. Those dreams were rehearsals of escape, preparing you for the freedom you are stepping into now. You may also remember dreams where people you no longer trust appeared again, sometimes smiling, sometimes silent, sometimes watching. These dreams were not calling you back into old relationships. They were revealing the spiritual energy tied to those individuals. Heaven was showing you who no longer has a place in your future. Michael reveals that your inheritance requires clean emotional territory. Untrustworthy spirits cannot enter the next season of your life. Those dreams were heaven's way of cutting the cord, removing the influence, and ensuring you do not accidentally carry old spiritual weight into your new divine identity. There were dreams where you were warned not to enter a certain place, not to follow a certain path, or not to trust a particular person. These were prophetic shields. Heaven was redirecting you. Your inheritance cannot flourish in environments that drain your spirit. Michael explains that each time you felt a sudden halt or resistance in a dream, it was heaven saying, "Not this direction, not this person, not this environment." Your spirit was being trained to recognize danger long before it reached your physical life. Tonight, that training becomes wisdom. You will begin to sense things more quickly. Your intuition will sharpen. Your discernment will rise. This is part of your inherited spiritual authority. There were also dreams where you saw storms, dark skies, rushing winds, heavy rain, or intense weather. Storm dreams represent spiritual cleansing. They appear when heaven is washing away old energies, breaking generational cycles, or preparing the atmosphere for something new. After every storm, there is clarity. After every storm, something hidden becomes visible. Michael reveals that the storms in your dreams were heaven purifying your inner world, so your inheritance could rest on a clean foundation. Nothing from your past will contaminate your destiny. Everything that threatened your peace is being removed. Some dreams showed you almost falling into danger, standing too close to an edge, driving towards something uncertain, or approaching a place that felt spiritually wrong. These near-danger dreams are signs of divine rescue. Heaven was showing you what nearly reached you, but never did. Michael explains that heaven has been intercepting spiritual attacks long before you became aware of them. If you saw the danger, but did not fall into it, it means protection surrounded your destiny. Your inheritance comes shielded. Nothing that stands against you can overpower the divine protection assigned to you. Michael now reveals something profound. Every warning dream you've ever had was actually a sign of your spiritual sensitivity. Not everyone receives prophetic alerts. Only those with awakened spirits do. Heaven has trusted you with foresight because your calling requires higher awareness. Your inheritance is not ordinary. It contains spiritual responsibility, spiritual gifts, and spiritual insight. This is why your dreams have always carried weight. You were created to see beyond the surface. Before this chapter shifts, pause and let this truth settle. What is coming next will take you deeper into the realm of revelation. But for now, if this message has stirred something in you, lift it higher so it reaches every soul who needs it. Like this message. Share it. Comment your experience. Speak life under this video. Let your presence here create a ripple in the spiritual realm. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you never miss what heaven releases next through this path. Type ISCE with heaven's eyes in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 144 is now ignited. As this revelation settles into your soul, hear this truth. When you sow into this mission, you are not giving to a person. You are fueling the movement of light that protects and awakens thousands just like you. Heaven multiplies every seed that carries intention. And tonight your inheritance is part of a spiritual awakening larger than you can imagine. Archangel Michael stands as witness to every act of generosity birthed from faith. For generosity breaks spiritual delay and opens divine pathways. I speak directly to you now. Your spirit knows this is not a moment to step back, but to step forward. The very theme of this message reminds you that when heaven releases inheritance, earth must respond with obedience. As you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, I declare blessings, increase, and supernatural alignment over your life. Move boldly, for heaven honors those who strengthen the reach of its message. Beloved soul, take a breath and open your inner senses, for what unfolds now carries one of the deepest revelations of your journey. Archangel Michael steps forward with a calm, steady radiance, and his presence feels different in this moment, less like a warrior and more like a teacher who has patiently waited for you to reach this level of spiritual maturity. What is being revealed in this chapter is not only sacred, but personal. It is tied to the dreams that have stayed with you the longest, the ones you replay in your mind even years later, the ones that felt like they were speaking directly to a part of you that words could not reach. Tonight, those dreams finally open their meaning. There have been dreams you could not forget, even when you tried. Scenes that revisited you like echoes. Moments that felt like memories, though they belonged to no event in your waking life. These unforgettable dreams were not random or symbolic in the way others were. They were spiritual imprints, experiences your spirit lived through with full awareness, while your physical body rested. Michael reveals that unforgettable dreams carry soul-level truth. They are the dreams your spirit recognizes as part of its divine assignment. They mark the moments heaven spoke to you in ways too profound for the conscious mind to fully translate. And tonight, those imprints begin to activate. Some of these unforgettable dreams involved a moment of intense clarity, a message, a voice, a revelation that shook you awake. When you heard someone speak directly to you, calling your name or telling you something with urgency, this was not imagination. These were angelic interactions. Heaven speaks directly only when the message is too essential to be missed. Michael reveals that every unforgettable message in your dreams was tied to your destiny. Some messages were warnings meant to redirect you. Some were instructions meant to prepare you. Some were confirmations of spiritual identity. And some were seeds waiting for the moment your spirit became strong enough to receive the fullness of their meaning. That moment is now. Perhaps one of the reasons certain dreams linger in your mind is because they contained people you have never seen before, faces that felt familiar, even though you know you've never met them. These individuals represent two possibilities. Some represent angels taking human form so that you would not fear their presence in the dream. They appeared familiar because your spirit recognized the purity of their energy. Others represent future connections, people who will play a role in your destiny but have not yet entered your life. Heaven often reveals them early so that your spirit remembers them when they appear. Michael wants you to understand this truth. Heaven prepares you for divine appointments long before they reach your timeline. These unforgettable faces were spiritual previews. There were also dreams where the environment felt impossibly vivid. Colors brighter than reality, sound deeper, light more alive. These vividly detailed dreams were not dreams at all. They were encounters in the spiritual realm. When your soul enters that realm, the senses heighten because you are no longer experiencing through the limitations of the body. You are experiencing through spirit. Michael reveals that these vivid dream encounters contain some of the purest forms of revelation. Every detail mattered. Every color carried meaning. Every sound carried instruction. Your inheritance includes the activation of the spiritual gifts that these dream encounters hinted at. Intuition, discernment, spiritual sensitivity, and the ability to recognize divine movement around you. You may also remember dreams where you felt an overwhelming sense of peace, so deep and serene that waking up felt like returning to a lesser world. These dreams were not mere comfort. They were moments of alignment, moments where your spirit touched the realm of your true identity. Heaven gave you a glimpse of the peace meant for your life, so your heart would recognize divine environments when they appear. Michael reveals that peace in dreams is a sign that the heavens are adjusting your emotional state, healing your heart, and preparing you for divine transition. This peace is part of your inheritance. It is rising within you even now. There were dreams you had that made you cry without understanding why. Dreams that stirred emotions you didn't know you were carrying. Dreams that felt like both release and revelation. These emotional dreams were your spirit healing in real time. Heaven uses dreams to access wounds that your conscious mind cannot reach. When you cried in dreams, your soul was clearing old pain, releasing past burdens, and making space for your inheritance to enter. Even if you didn't understand the reason for the tears, heaven understood the necessity of the healing. Michael reveals that these emotional releases were divine surgeries, restoration happening while you rested. Another pattern among your unforgettable dreams involved repetition, the same place, the same moment, the same object appearing more than once. Repetition is divine emphasis. Heaven repeats what must not be overlooked. If a symbol appeared repeatedly, it meant your inheritance was tied to that message. Perhaps it was a place you were meant to step into. Perhaps it was a calling awakening within you. Perhaps it was an aspect of your identity heaven wanted to highlight. Whatever repeated dreams you had, their meaning was foundational. Michael declares that tonight those repeated symbols unlock, revealing their significance to your destiny. There were also dreams that felt unfinished, as if they stopped too early or you woke before the final moment. These unfinished dreams were divine cliffhangers. Heaven showed you only the part you were ready for. The rest was reserved for this season. Michael reveals that the completion of those dreams will happen in your waking life. The answers you waited for are approaching. The clarity that was withheld is being released. The missing pieces are coming together in this exact moment of your life because your spirit has reached maturity. Some dreams felt like warnings, but carried an undercurrent of reassurance. That reassurance was Michael himself. During those dreams, he stood beside you, ensuring no fear overtook your spirit. The warnings were protection. The reassurance was presence. Your inheritance includes this protection permanently. You will walk into the next season with sharper discernment and stronger spiritual defenses than you have ever carried before. You stand now on the edge of further revelation, and the next unveiling will take you into the dreams that pointed toward destiny. Not threats, not healing, but calling. Prepare yourself. What comes next will stir the deepest parts of your purpose. Type "I remember my spirit's truth" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 1313 is now released. Stay close, for the next unfolding reveals the dreams that spoke directly of your purpose and divine assignment. Beloved one, step with me into this moment with full attention, because Archangel Michael is now ready to unveil the dreams that carry the purest and most direct messages about your purpose. These were not warning dreams, not healing dreams, not cleansing dreams. These were destiny dreams. These are the ones you remember with a strange mixture of awe and longing, the ones that felt bigger than your life at the time you dreamed them. They carried a glow, a presence, an intensity that stayed with you long after you woke up. Michael reveals that these dreams were not glimpses of possibility, they were glimpses of identity. They showed you not what you might become, but who you already are in the spirit. There were dreams where you found yourself leading others, speaking to crowds, helping people, or guiding someone through confusion or danger. You may have dismissed these dreams as imagination, but heaven never reveals leadership unless leadership already exists within you. In these dreams, you stood with confidence you didn't feel in your waking life, moved with clarity you didn't know you had, and spoke with authority you did not realize belonged to you. This was heaven's way of showing you your spiritual stature. Your inheritance includes influence, not superficial influence, but spiritual impact, the ability to shift atmospheres, to guide others, to carry light into dark places. Michael reveals that these dreams were preparing you for a calling that extends far beyond your current circumstances. Some destiny dreams showed you receiving something, being handed a mantle, a book, a garment, a crown, a staff, or even a glowing object. These symbols carry ancient meaning. A mantle represents calling. A book represents revelation. A garment represents identity. A crown represents authority. A staff represents spiritual leadership. And a glowing object represents spiritual power or divine assignment. You may have wondered why the object was placed into your hands instead of being shown from afar. Michael reveals that heaven was demonstrating ownership. You are not only called to witness your destiny, you are called to carry it. There were dreams where you stood on mountains, hills, or elevated places with a wide view stretching out before you. These dreams represented spiritual elevation. Heaven was showing you the vantage point of your future self. High places and dreams are rare and deeply prophetic. They signify seasons where God lifts someone above confusion, above emotional weight, above spiritual fog. Michael reveals that your inheritance includes elevation of perspective. You will not walk blindly into your future. You will see with clarity, discernment, and heavenly insight. Those mountaintop dreams were previews of your future authority. You may also recall dreams where you were surrounded by light. Light flowing from your hands, light coming from your voice, light moving through your body, or light surrounding you like a shield. These were not symbolic in the way you may think. They were literal glimpses of your spirit. Heaven sees you as light, even before you see yourself that way. Michael reveals that the light that surrounded you was your spiritual inheritance manifesting. This is why these dreams felt peaceful, empowering, or overwhelming. Your spirit was encountering its true form. The brightness was not about glory, it was about identity. Some dreams reveal you walking through darkness with confidence. You were not afraid. You were not lost. You walked as though guided by an inner compass. These dreams were heaven's way of showing you that your spirit has authority even in unfamiliar territory. You were shown navigating the unknown, because your calling requires movement through unseen paths. Michael explains that your destiny involves guiding others who cannot see clearly. You were given these dreams so you would recognize courage inside yourself long before life required you to use it. There were destiny dreams where you were building something, constructing a house, repairing a bridge, planting a garden, or shaping something with your hands. These dreams represent creation. Your calling includes building, restoring, shaping, healing, or establishing something that will outlast you. The tools you used in these dreams symbolize the gifts you carry. The structure you were building symbolized the legacy you are meant to leave. Even if you do not yet understand what you are called to create, heaven does, and your dreams have been revealing pieces of that truth for years. You may remember dreams where you saw yourself as stronger, wiser, or older than you are now. These were glimpses of your future self, your matured spirit, your elevated consciousness, your ascended identity. Heaven showed you the version of yourself you are growing into, so that you would recognize progress along the way. Michael reveals that your inheritance includes spiritual growth that accelerates rapidly once you align with your calling. These dreams were sacred mirrors reflecting the potential heaven planted within you before you were born. Then there were dreams where you received direct instruction, someone telling you what to do, where to go, or who to become. These dreams carried the highest level of spiritual communication. Heaven speaks directly only when a message must be understood without confusion. Every instruction you received in a destiny dream is part of your life's assignment. Some instructions were literal, some were symbolic. All carried spiritual weight. Michael reveals that if an instruction repeated itself in multiple dreams, it is an unfulfilled assignment that is now rising into activation. You may also recall dreams where you were protected from harm without lifting a finger, where danger dissolved, threats disappeared, or harm simply could not reach you. These dreams were not about safety, but about identity. Heaven was showing you the level of divine protection assigned to your calling. Your inheritance includes spiritual shielding. The calling on your life is too valuable for heaven to leave unguarded. Michael reveals that the reason certain threats never reached you in real life is because they already failed in the dream realm. Beloved, everything heaven revealed through your destiny dreams has been preparing you for the activation unfolding in this moment. You are stepping into the season your spirit has been rehearsing for in dreams for years. The next revelation will take you into the true purpose of your inheritance and how the dreams you were given are the roadmap to that purpose. Type "I awaken to my purpose" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 1001 is now released. Stay close, for what comes next will unveil how all your dreams connect into one divine assignment written over your life. Beloved soul, open your heart gently now, for Archangel Michael stands beside you with a revelation that begins to braid everything together. Every dream you've carried, every symbol that returned to you again and again, every moment that felt like prophecy unfolding in the night was leading toward this sacred unveiling. Part of your inheritance is understanding, not just receiving blessing, but knowing who you are, why your dreams speak the way they do, and what your spirit has been preparing for across seasons of your life. Tonight, clarity begins to take shape in a way it never has before. Michael moves closer with a steady presence, his voice resonating like a calm but powerful wind as he reveals how the fragments of your dream life are pieces of a single divine assignment written over your existence since before you entered this world. There were dreams where your journey felt scattered, jumping from one scene to another, shifting environments, shifting emotions, shifting timelines. You wondered why these dreams felt disjointed, as though they belonged to different stories. Michael now reveals that these were not separate stories at all. They were chapters of the same divine book unfolding in non-linear form. Heaven does not speak through time the way earth does. In dreams, you sometimes saw your past, sometimes glimpses of your future, sometimes reflections of your present, because your spirit exists beyond time. The scattered dreams were pieces of a pattern, and that pattern is your calling. You were seeing who you were, who you are becoming, and who you have already been appointed to be. Tonight, those pieces begin to form a single image. Some of the strongest dreams you had involved choosing between two paths, one bright and one dim, one clear and one uncertain, one peaceful and one troubling. You may not have realized it then, but these dreams were testing your alignment. When heaven prepares someone for divine assignment, their spirit must learn to choose in the unseen realm what their body will later walk out in the physical world. Michael reveals that every choice you made in your dreams strengthened your spiritual compass. Even the times you chose the difficult path symbolized courage awakening inside you. The times you chose the unclear path symbolized faith growing within you. The times you chose the peaceful path symbolized discernment forming. You were never simply choosing paths, you were choosing identity. There were dreams where you found yourself speaking boldly, even though you consider yourself quiet in real life. Dreams where you had answers you don't remember learning. Dreams where you stood with authority you don't believe you possess. These were glimpses of your spirit unfiltered by fear, doubt, or insecurity. Michael reveals that your destiny contains spiritual influence. You were shown these dreams to recognize the version of yourself heaven already sees, fearless, wise, activated, and deeply aware. Your inheritance tonight includes stepping into this version of yourself with confidence, shedding the self-doubt that once limited your path. You may also remember dreams where you were surrounded by symbols that seemed unrelated but strangely important. Numbers, Names, colors, doors, landscapes, or objects. Everything in those dreams carried purpose. Numbers represented seasons. Names represented connections. Colors represented emotional growth. Doors represented opportunity. Landscapes represented spiritual territory. Objects represented gifts. Michael now reveals that your destiny includes the ability to interpret signs. Not through superstition, but through spiritual clarity. You are being trained to recognize heaven's symbols because your calling requires being attentive to what others overlook. Your dreams have been your classroom, and your inheritance is the ability to discern the language of heaven. There were dreams where you were given responsibility, caring for something fragile, guiding someone vulnerable, protecting something valuable. These dreams reflected your calling as a bearer of light, someone meant to hold what is sacred, nurture what is divine, and guard what is precious. Heaven entrusted these symbols to you because your spirit carries compassion, wisdom, and resilience far beyond what you acknowledge. Michael reveals that part of your inheritance is spiritual stewardship. You are meant to carry insight, influence, healing, or divine understanding in a way that shapes others' lives. You were never meant to walk a small path. Your calling holds depth, and your dreams were preparing you to carry that depth with spiritual maturity. Some of the most powerful dreams involve bridges you crossed, bridges you hesitated to walk on, bridges that led into the unknown. These bridge dreams represent transition. They appear when heaven is moving you from one spiritual chapter into another. Michael reveals that you are now walking across the largest bridge you have ever encountered in your spiritual journey. This bridge leads into your inheritance, the alignment of your gifts, your purpose, your identity, and your destiny. You hesitated in some dreams because change felt overwhelming. But every time you crossed, even in dreams, it marked a moment of spiritual courage. Tonight, heaven honors every step you took, even the ones that felt uncertain. There were dreams where you returned to a place repeatedly, an old home, a familiar street, a recurring building, a repeating environment. These dreams symbolized unfinished inner work. Heaven was showing you what needed closure, release, or healing before your inheritance could manifest fully. Michael reveals that the repetition of certain places showed where your spirit was still tied. But tonight, those ties are loosening. Your inheritance requires freedom, and freedom is being released over you as the deeper meaning of those dreams unfolds. You may have also had dreams where you saw a version of yourself from the past, your younger self, a childhood self, or a version of you from another time. These dreams reflected healing and restoration. Heaven was showing you the parts of yourself that needed to be gathered back into wholeness. Michael reveals that your purpose requires every part of your identity. No fragment can remain hidden. Tonight, restoration is part of the inheritance being placed into your hands. Beloved, listen closely now. All your dreams, every warning, every symbol, every message, every moment were pointing toward a singular truth. You were being prepared. You were being shaped. You were being aligned. Your dreams have been the map, and now your inheritance is the destination. The next revelation will unveil how heaven intends for you to walk into this purpose with authority. Type "I step into my true calling" in the comments if this speaks to you. Blessing code 606 is now activated. Stay near, for the next unfolding will deliver the culmination of everything your dreams have been revealing since the beginning. Beloved soul, take a deep, steady breath, because what unfolds in this final revelation is the completion of a journey heaven has been preparing you for long before you recognized it. Archangel Michael stands beside you now with the full radiance of his presence, a presence not meant to overwhelm, but to awaken. This is the moment where the scattered pieces of your dreams merge into one truth. This is where the symbols make sense, where the warnings align, where the guidance sharpens, and where the purpose becomes undeniable. Tonight, your spiritual inheritance is not simply being revealed. It is being released into your life with authority, clarity, and divine certainty. Every dream you have ever carried, even the ones you forgot, contributed to the unveiling of who you truly are. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was accidental. Heaven has spoken to you in layers because the calling on your life is layered. You were shaped through dreams because your destiny required spiritual intelligence long before it took physical form. Michael reveals that the reason your dreams have always carried weight is because your life carries weight. You were not created to drift through seasons blindly. You were created to walk with intentionality, purpose, and spiritual awareness. And tonight, the inheritance you are stepping into is the very identity your spirit has been rehearsing in the night for years. Think back to the earliest dream you remember, the one that felt strange, impactful, or almost too vivid for your age. That was the first seed heaven planted. Dreams in childhood are often purer because the heart has not yet been crowded by fear or doubt. Michael reveals that the earliest dreams often carry some of the strongest hints of destiny. You were glimpsing your calling before you had language for it. You were already walking in spiritual sensitivity before you understood what it meant. Those early dreams were heaven whispering, "This one is marked. This one is chosen. This one carries a purpose that will not be buried." As you grew older, your dreams evolved with you. They became more complex, more symbolic, more intense. This was not because life became heavier, but because your spirit grew stronger. Heaven speaks with greater depth to those who can carry greater depth. Michael reveals that your dream life increased in intensity whenever you approached spiritual milestones, moments of breakthrough, moments of transition, moments of elevation. You may not have seen the signs in your waking life, but your dreams always saw them first. That is the mark of someone anointed, someone whose spirit is awake even when their mind is uncertain. There were dreams that showed you rising, building, guiding, healing, or leading. These were not fantasies. They were previews. Heaven would never show you a version of yourself that doesn't exist. You were being shown your future identity so your spirit would recognize it when it arrives. You are stepping into that identity now. Your inheritance includes purpose, divine purpose that aligns with everything heaven has been whispering to you through dreams for years. You are stepping into spiritual clarity, into confidence, into alignment, into divine awareness. This is the moment everything shifts. There were also dreams that showed you fighting battles, dreams that felt intense, moments where conflict appeared, moments where fear tried to chase you. Michael now reveals that in those dreams you were witnessing spiritual warfare already won. The enemy attacked because of your calling, not your weakness. The resistance was confirmation of your anointing. And every time you survived the dream, every time you escaped, every time you overcame, even symbolically, your spirit was gaining victory that would later manifest in your life. You are not weak. You were being trained. And your inheritance includes the authority forged through these victories. There were dreams you never understood, dreams you ignored, dreams you forgot, but heaven did not forget any of them. Every dream left a spiritual imprint. Every dream carried a message. Every dream contributed to the shaping of your intuition. Your inheritance tonight includes the activation of your spiritual memory. Things that once felt confusing will now feel inspired. Symbols that once felt random will now feel meaningful. Your dreams were the blueprint, and heaven is now giving you the ability to read that blueprint with understanding. Michael steps closer now, his presence warm and steady, and he speaks a truth meant for your spirit alone. The dreams you have been receiving were not only about guidance, they were about identity and destiny. You were being prepared to rise, prepared to lead, prepared to awaken, prepared to walk into purpose without fear. The inheritance being released tonight is the full unlocking of what heaven placed inside you before you entered this world. The gifts, the intuition, the clarity, the discernment, the purpose. It is all rising now. Heaven has waited for this moment. Your spirit has grown into this moment. Your dreams have carried you toward this moment. And now, beloved one, you are stepping into the fullness of your calling with strength, understanding, and divine revelation. Before this chapter closes, lift this message higher. Like it. Share it. Speak in the comments. Bring others into this moment. And if you have not yet, subscribe so you remain connected to every revelation that follows. Let your engagement become part of the spiritual ripple this message is meant to create. Type "I step fully into my inheritance" in the comments if this is awakening your spirit. Blessing code 1717 is now released. As we stand at the end of this divine unveiling, hear this with spiritual understanding. Supporting this mission is not an act of charity, it is an act of alignment. When you sow into a message that awakens souls, you become part of heaven's expansion on earth. The same inheritance released over you tonight becomes multiplied in the lives of those who will hear these words because of your faithfulness. Archangel Michael reminds you now that where you sow, the heavens open, pouring out light, revelation, and protection in return. I speak directly to your spirit. Step into this moment boldly. The title of this message is not just instruction, it is invitation. Use Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description to activate this divine cycle. Move as one chosen, and may heaven pour increase, clarity, and favor over every seed you release.